quilted daydreams, stolen by cold winds of reality.
Bürger des Großreiches, dies ist ein Tag des Triumphes. Eine Woche ist es her, dass unsere tapferen Soldaten William Joseph Blaskowitz gefangen nehmen konnten. Die Festnahme erfolgte in einem Bauernhaus nahe Dallas mit einem schnellen Einsatz ohne Todesopfer. Nun wird diesem Schwerverbrecher und ehemaligen Terroristenanführer die Gerechtigkeit erfahren, die er seinen unzähligen Opfern verwehrte. Unser ruhmvolles Reich wird nicht ruhen, ehe der Krieg gewonnen ist! Sieg heil!
Sieg heil! Sieg heil! Sieg heil!
We would have been so good together. Darling, you're breaking my heart.
Wolfenstein 2 is not shy about its message. You are here to kill Nazis and to do so in the most gloriously violent way possible. While shooters have often used Nazis as villains for years, Wolfenstein 2's release comes at a particularly intriguing time in the world. Real-life, modern-day Nazis march in the streets of the United States, and sympathizers of hate groups like the Ku Klux Klan have risen and become more vocal. Wolfenstein 2 also doesn't waste any time picking sides. The game's narrative and setting are designed around showing you the worst case scenario in which America sides with Nazi Germany and the nation at large is complicit. If you're unfamiliar with Machine Game's story that began with 2014's The New Order, Nazi Germany won World War II. And while the first game mostly took place in German-occupied Europe, Wolfenstein 2 makes things a bit more personal for us here in the States. It starts off slow. You'll still spend a lot of time in German U-boats, Nazi fortresses, and underground bunkers. But Wolfenstein 2 is at its unrivaled best when it shows you the America we know and love under Nazi control. What's shocking is that Nazi Germany's control over the United States isn't as oppressive as you may think. Hooded KKK members walk openly down Texas roads and engage with German soldiers. Carefully crafted propaganda floods the television waves, and the populace joyfully and willingly consumes it. Thousands crowd the Washington Monument, now covered in Nazi symbolism, for pro-Nazi rallies. America as a whole seems content with allowing all of this, complicit in their own subjugation.
We haven't decided on a date yet, but soon. You're invited, of course, Auntie.
Oh, that's nice, dear. Give my regards to your father when you return to the farm. Oh, and tell him I'm putting some hardworking slaves up for auction this week if he's interested. There'll be cocktails.
I'll tell him, Auntie. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye, dear.
It's jarring, which is obviously by design. As I played through the game's brutal and compelling campaign, seeing the likes of New Orleans and Manhattan ravaged by war was shocking in its own right. The Manhattan level in particular was shocking because in Wolfenstein 2's version of America, the Nazis dropped an atomic bomb there. While the shock of seeing these almost unrecognizable cities helped make for some great backdrops, seeing other American cities and towns subjugated and domesticated by an old foe made for Wolfenstein 2's most memorable moments. Seeing this horrific portrayal of America is a call to arms, urging you to stand up and make America Nazi-free again, as the game's brilliant advertising suggests. Seeing America, a country that has never been invaded by another nation, fly Nazi flags should be more than enough incentive to do so. It certainly is for the game's protagonist, B.J. Blazkowicz, red-blooded, whiskey-drinking, gun-toting American. Certainly, if someone with BJ's line of thinking can recognize that the Nazi ideology is at odds with American beliefs, the rest of us can as well.
Let me say this again. I ain't no goddamn Nazi.
And that's the beauty of Wolfenstein 2's commentary. Its main character is more in line with conservative and Republican ideals. He has a complete reverence to those who have fought and died in the war and would be considered a war hero himself by anyone's standard. That he refuses to compromise on his beliefs speaks volumes to how repugnant the idea of Nazism should be to Americans.
I got kids on the way, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna raise them in a world run by these Nazi assholes. So what's it gonna be?
The fact that Wolfenstein 2 is a fun, varied, and challenging shooter is just the icing on the cake. All of the guns, heavy and light, are terrific to use, and there's a variety of upgrades and power-ups that make how you approach each situation different. The level design, once again, shines through big, sprawling areas with plenty of hallways and side passages that enable you to take out dozens of enemies at a time. Not only does Wolfenstein 2 want you to kill Nazis by the boatload, it makes it a joy to do so. If it's one thing you take away from Wolfenstein 2 though, it's the message. Not just the idea that Nazis are evil, but with how emphatically the game and the game's writers say it. A message like that shouldn't speak volumes, but in today's political climate, it certainly does.
Maybe you're right. Maybe the American people grew comfortable living under tyranny. Maybe the Nazis will still be running the show after I kick the bucket.
Sister Grace always right, brother. I learned that the hard way.
I don't know. But I know this. You take freedom away from the American people, you're playing with fire. And I intend to pour some gasoline. People gotta know they don't have to take this shit no more. And if nothing else, that's what I'm gonna do before I go.